I can't be alone. This isn't just happening to me. This is happening to families all over. Political divide is a real thing. It's something that I honestly never thought that I would have to deal with. Why would I? Why would I? I never even paid attention to politics. Why would this affect me? It shouldn't, but it fucking does. It fucking does. Because now that I've turned on politics, I can't turn it off. I choose not to turn it off. So that's just going to make more of a deep cut between us, right? I'm your host, Christy Chanelle, and this is the Love You Miss You Bye podcast. Today is my dad's birthday. Now, on the surface, that is a wonderful thing to celebrate. Even underneath the surface, it's a wonderful thing to celebrate. My dad is going to be, he is. My dad is 72 years old and an amazing human, okay, who I love very, very much. Now, as I said, today's his birthday. If you look back at some of the episodes that happened a month ago, my dad and I got into an argument around January 18th. It was right before my work trip to Phoenix. Okay, it's just an important daughterly thing to do is to go visit your dad, especially after he's had surgery and before you leave on a work trip. Turns out, probably not the best move. I don't know if he was on his hydrocodone because of his surgery, and I was just filled with a lot of things on my mind, and the two just did not mix well. And for some reason, we got into the political talk. Now, the political talk is typically not a bad thing, because I usually keep my mouth shut. Sometimes. Not all the time. Sometimes. As these political things are building up, so is my stress level. As I talk about politics on my podcast, on my YouTube channel, on my Instagram, and on TikTok, I become more of who I am. And I know that sounds weird, but it's true. It's like I get more comfortable in my own skin. And the more comfortable I get in my own skin, the harder it is for me to just sit there and grin and bear it. It just is. I want nothing more than to do that. And it was so easy when I really wasn't tuned into politics. I'm tuned in now. I listen every day to what's going on in the news. And he does too. He could be a Fox analyst. That's how much he watches it. He could be hired for one of the high esteem positions surrounding President Trump. Because, as we all know, he hires the Fox analysts, the Fox hosts. He likes them a lot. Well, he would love my dad. They would be besties, okay? And maybe I don't call him a MAGA because I don't get the general consensus that he hates people. I don't feel like he's wants any harm for any other group. I just think he's being fed propaganda. So much of it that he's too far deep, okay? For him and I to get into an argument, he's too far deep because he loves me. I believe, could be just me believing, but I believe I'm his favorite human on the planet Earth. I do. And he'd probably tell you that. But this is the one area where we do not get along. So I went over there. Somehow we got on the topic of Elon Musk and it was on. I ended up leaving, crying. Yeah, it was not a good look. It was not a good feel. It was really bad. It was really, really bad. So he did go on a cruise after, it was probably 2 weeks later. He texted me, told me he loved me, and then he was about to leave. And of course I responded back because I do love him with all of my heart. I just don't always understand him. And I'm sure he feels the same way. Like we're so different. We're just so different. And I mean, in every way, we're different. My mom took me from Texas and brought me to New Jersey, where I was raised with her and my stepdad, my Jewish stepdad. So I celebrated Hanukkah and Christmas. I lit the menorah and put on the Christmas lights. It's how I grew up. So my dad grew up here in Texas. his whole life. Just very different upbringing, okay? I was the city girl in this family. They always called me the city girl because I was so different. My views were different. Everything was different. I was always like the black sheep, but not just in my dad's family, with my mom's, because my mom was raised here in the Bible Belt. I say all this to tell you that I am very different. That's rough because today, as I said, my dad's birthday, I was dreading it. And not because I was dreading celebrating a wonderful person. It was dreading because I knew I would have to come face to face with my dad again, which again, at face value, that's a wonderful thing. I was just nervous. I mean, I'm still very high strung about what's going on with our government, which we're going to talk about in the next few minutes. But I needed to get this out because I can't be alone. This isn't just happening to me. This is happening to families all over. Political divide is a real thing. It's something that I honestly never thought that I would have to deal with. Why would I? Why would I? I never even paid attention to politics. Why would this affect me? It shouldn't, but it fucking does. It fucking does, because now that I've turned on politics, I can't turn it off. I choose not to turn it off. So that's just going to make more of a deep cut between us, right? Me and my family, a deep cut. I was still planning on going to see my dad for his birthday. And then I heard there were other relatives in the mix that were at his house. And one of them, the stuff that he posts on Facebook makes me want to puke. It makes me so freaking mad that I have now built up this disdain for this person. Disdain. He's never done anything to me. He's never done anything wrong to me. I need to put that out there. It's his views. They disgust me. And he's not like, hey, I love this policy. Hey, none of that. No, Trump is the best. Yeah. It's like really fucked up stuff. Okay? It's talking about the boycott. The boycott that everybody was going to do. Don't go to Target. Don't go to Walmart. Don't buy from Amazon. All of the things that can really hurt a greedy corporation was supposed to happen on February 28th. I hope you did it. I hope you stayed away. I hope you were part of the blackout. But some of the stuff that he was posting in regards to this blackout, how about I just read you the post so that you can see? This is just one. There's at least a few a day. Okay, it says, on February 28th, a group of racist morons are encouraging a boycott of in-store and online shopping as a retaliation for retailers' cancellation of diversity and inclusion initiatives. Unfortunately, many of the boycotters are likely to be grifters, racists, lib psychos, extremists, and criminals. Therefore, this presents a good opportunity for law-abiding citizens to safely shop without interference from these anti-American punks. Bye, bye, bye tomorrow. Okay, so then his mutual jumps in and says, government assist welfare doesn't come till the first of the month. They don't have any money to spend on February 28th anyway. This is a type of shit that makes my blood boil. How can they sit there and say these lib psychos? Obviously, that's not the part that pisses me off. I could give a fuck. But how can they call us woke lib psychos and they post stuff like this that is so tone deaf and shows that he is absolutely oblivious to what's truly happening out there? This is causing divides. And he was at my fucking dad's. And I'm like, oh, no, no, no. I'll be skipping that little house visit. I'm not going to the house visit. No, it's not happening. I decided that me and my little family were going to just meet at the restaurant to avoid all of this. I have to already deal with it with my dad. I did not want any extra because it would take everything I had to hold it together to just get through a conversation with my own dad. He's the only one that I will be trying to make this relationship work with. Everybody else can fuck off. So luckily, this relative did not come to the dinner, so it was all good. And honestly, I have to say, I think I was more worked up than anything. When I went, it was really a good conversation. It was really a great visit. And there were no discussions of politics, which is my favorite kind of dinner. Hopefully, we can stay off that topic and we'll be good to go. I love my dad. I'm not trying to complain. I'm just trying to share with you that this is a real thing. This is really affecting families. It's really affecting me. And I don't know. It's just something that I never really, it was always in the background of my relationship, the far, far background. But it was never right here. It was never right here in my face. It's here. It's right here. But my dad's 72. And he needs to be celebrated for me. I need to do that. I don't want to have any regrets in my life. I don't need that. All these other people are truly irrelevant in my life. I will not think twice about them. I will be fine without them. But I won't be fine without my dad. So, on that note, I have no complaints. I actually feel really good about it. It's time to move on to the other news. I have decided that along with giving you whatever the hot headline is, I'm also going to make sure that I give you good news. I have to leave you with some good news. It's just not fair to sit here and complain and bitch and be paranoid and be stressed and be worried and then bring that to you and then have you be stressed and worried. That's not going to help us. We're not going to do well if we're doing bad mentally, right? We need to tell each other good news too. So it is now part of anytime I sit here and we talk about the news, we will end with something positive. I haven't named the segment yet, but positive shit, okay? Maybe that's what I'll call it, positive shit. I'm not really sure yet. But before I get into the news, I did want to tell you that my last episode was about quitting smoking, and I am proud to say today I am on 10 days without smoking. And I started thinking about it a little bit. You know, I've been able to quit smoking essentially 3 times in my life. Every time I was pregnant. Every time I was pregnant, I did not smoke. So the difference is I was quitting for somebody else. I was quitting for the health of my babies, not for the health of myself. Now I'm quitting for the health of myself, and it feels very, very different, you know? And I know they tell you, like, people that are alcoholics, they say, don't think about a week down the road. Take one day at a time. One day at a time. Well, I keep saying, I'm never going to have a cigarette again. And that's very, very daunting and scary a little bit. So I'm just going to take one day at a time. And I'm going to save $10 at a time. Which feels really damn good, to be honest with you. Lungs can heal themselves. So I'm going to allow myself to heal. And so, like I said, we're on day 10. And, well, you know, it's time for an applause because I would call this some good news. Also, I will have my surgery on Thursday, March 6th, and I will be under the knife and sedation for probably 4 to 5 hours. Yeah, that's a little scary. That's a little scary. So I need to make sure that I tell you that I love you and how much joy you've brought to my life. Because, well, I mean, you should do that anyway, right? You should tell people that you love them. I learned that when my mom died. I always thought that. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes you think it and you don't actually say it. So I think it's important to tell everybody that you love them and don't leave anything left unsaid. So I am telling you, thank you for listening. Thank you for trusting me with your valuable time. It's so valuable, and it's the only thing that you can't really replenish. So thank you for spending your time with me. Now, I don't know how I'm going to look because I'm getting the eyes done. Did I tell you? I don't think I told you. I'm getting the eyes done and the teeth done at the same time. I know. Before I was like, later down the line, I'm going to get the eyes done. I told you what it's called. We went through that whole thing. Now I'm doing it at the same time because the eyes are going to take me out for 2 weeks. And the dental is going to take me out for at least 2 weeks. It's probably a lot longer, but I might as well just freaking take downtime and do it at the same time and not have to do it later. So yeah, I'm going to look like a burn victim because they're going to be going a laser around my eyes. And, well, my face is going to be swollen from all the dental surgery that I'm going to have. So I don't know how much talking I'm going to be able to do. I have episodes that I'll put out. We're shooting for the 24th. So you will have episodes that haven't been released on the 10th and the 17th, for sure. 100%. I have them ready. Well, I'm going to be editing them. I'm going to have nothing else to do. So I'm going to be doing a lot of editing. So we'll see how it goes. Keep me in your thoughts, send positive energy and healing for me. And hopefully, no, definitely, I will see you as soon as humanly possible. All right. I think we've talked enough about me. Let's talk about what's happening in the world. Well, the one thing that's really jumping out at me that really pisses me off is the whole Zelensky, Trump, JD Vance situation. That conference that was publicized between the three men made me cringe to the level that I actually turned it off. I felt so uncomfortable watching that. I wanted to hide inside my fucking shoe. It was horrible.
Why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest. Why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if you do. You own a suit?
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not
Really?
respecting the dignity of this office.
I will wear a costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe one.
Maybe something like this.
Something like
Yes,
yours.
sir.
Yes.
That'd be great.
Maybe something better. I don't know.
Yeah.
We will see. Maybe something cheaper than
When they started talking about Zelensky not wearing a suit, my blood began to boil. When they were talking over this man like he held no value to them, it made me nauseous. Okay? Because regardless of whatever political line you fall on, respect is important. You give respect to people, humans. You do not treat them like trash. You can argue, but you should not disrespect. There is a lot of good things that come out of arguments. There's a lot of positive things that come out of debates. It makes you stronger to have a debate and to be able to stand solid on whatever side or hear the other person's side so that you can make a well-informed decision. But the way this happened, I have no words. It was disgusting. And I kind of love, now off topic, but just talking about the suit, it is a big deal that people can dress how they want to dress. Okay? And just because you don't wear a suit does not make you any less of a man. I actually respect people that feel good in whatever they're wearing instead of being a cookie cutter carbon copy of the things that are out there. I am not appalled because Zelensky didn't have a suit on. I'm just not. I actually thought Richard Branson, he's one of my favorite entrepreneurs. He's one of my favorites because he's not the conventional entrepreneur. You won't see him in a suit. You don't see him treating people like garbage. He's fun. He's innovative. I love his style, his company style. I love everything about how he is as a leader. And so when they trashed what he was wearing, Richard Branson was the first person that came into my mind, and how much I looked at him like, that's who I want to be like. Not the Bezos, not Trump, not JD Vance, not the suits that are in the corporate world. I want to be the opposite of the corporate suits. So fuck you for saying that. And I wish he could have said that himself. I do. You're going to have very strong divides on Trump played chess. This is how you do a negotiation. Bravo. How dare he walk in there thinking that he owns the place? I get it. Okay? I get it. And again, one more time for the people in the back. I don't give a fuck. You treat people with respect. That's all I have to say about that. Presidential actions and democratic concerns. Let's talk about that a little bit. President Trump has issued a series of executive orders that critics argue challenge the foundational principles of American democracy. One such order, entitled Ensuring Accountability for All Agencies, grants the president authority to determine the law and its adherence, raising alarms about potential authoritarianism. Experts warn that this move could undermine the rule of law and shift the U.S. towards a more centralized power structure. Now, I just talked about the whole meeting with Ukraine. Let's see what this says. Tensions with Ukraine. A recent meeting between President Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. I looked up the pronunciation, so I'm going to say it right. Trump accused Zelensky of not adequately expressing gratitude for the U.S. support, while Zelensky emphasized Ukraine's need for security assurances before engaging in peace talks with Russia. This incident has strained relations and drawn swift reactions from European leaders. Yeah, people are pissed. Countries are pissed. Is this the shock and awe that we're all talking about? Because I see it now and I try to shut it off. It's like I'm watching countries react. I'm watching them not want to fuel up tankers. I'm watching this stuff and I just keep thinking we are so screwed, and I don't see a way out of it. Do you? Because if you see something that I don't see, I really, really need you to tell me in the comments. You've been quiet. You're not talking much to me in the comments. Now would be the time. I see. Let's just talk about who's actually listening. Which countries? Because I have a few that seem to be consistently listening to me. The podcast is growing, though. That's some good news. Okay. So if we look up just specifically locations, last episode. So Japan. How you feeling, Japan? Tell me. If you're listening from Japan, what are you seeing right now? What is the news showing you? How are you feeling about America right now? I have Ukraine. There's somebody from Ukraine watching this right now. Please tell me. I want you to know I'm sorry, first of all. I'm sorry. I'm so fucking sorry. Just know that, okay? How are you feeling? Germany. Germany's listening. Germany has been here. I'm always getting Germany. I get Germany on Simply Vibin' a lot too, and I get it here. Then I have France, Sweden, Russian Federation. Okay. I have the gamuts of the countries that want to hear what the fuck's going on from a citizen, apparently. I want to know what's going on from you. Your countries. What are you seeing? I'd even love to have somebody on, especially Ukraine. Like, I would love to have one of you guys on. I just want to hear what's happening in your world. I think that would be such a good episode. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm going to talk about. I've talked your ear off. I'm not going to give you any more bad news. I will tell you some good news. I asked ChatGPT, I said, tell me about the prices. How are we looking for the prices? The national average, gasoline prices have fallen across the United States, with the average cost dropping below $3 per gallon in states like Texas. That's where I'm at. I see it. This trend has provided some economic relief to consumers and has been viewed favorably in political context. Prescription drug prices. The Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 granted the Department of Health and Human Services the authority to negotiate prices for select prescription drugs under Medicare Part D, starting in 2026. In August 2024, the prices of the first 10 drugs selected for negotiation were announced, aiming to reduce cost for consumers. I'm really looking forward to that. I really, really am. The bottom summary says, while these sectors have seen price decreases, it's important to note that the overall inflation has risen since December 2024. Now, I know I said I was going to give you some good news. Let me finish the summary. The Consumer Price Index increased by 3% in January 2025, indicating that not all consumer prices have been declining during this period. In summary, although certain areas such as cryptocurrencies, gasoline, and prescription drugs have experienced price reductions since President Trump's inauguration, the broader economic landscape reflects a mix of both rising and falling prices across different sectors. There you have it. It's some good and some bad when it comes to prices. And with that, I'm going to sign off. No matter what's going on around you, we still have to function. We still have to get out. We still have to work. We still have to take care of our responsibilities, whether it be children, whether it be to ourselves, whether it be to humanity. We need to keep going. And I know it can be depressing and I know it can be scary. But we are not alone. We have each other, and we will figure it out, because I plan on coming back like a whole new woman, and I want to get out there, and I'm going to get rid of my fear and insecurities, and I'm going to do something with it. I just don't know what yet, but public speaking may be in the realm of possibility, along with maybe going on a podcast or two. We shall see. In my next episode, I plan on telling you about my new business venture. I know I'm all over the place, but one thing that remains very, very much the same is my want to motivate other women in whatever category or niche I happen to be in. My main service to you is to make sure that I help other women, no matter how old you are, because I'm not going to just do over 50. I want to help all women use their voices and stand up for themselves, or share the knowledge that they have learned or are learning in their lives right now. I want to have a media house, and I want to share these other women podcasts with you, and I want to help you do it. Well, my website is up, so I have to tell you about it. www.christychanelle.com will have all the information for you. One big beta trial surprise is I am going to be selecting 2 women podcasts that I want to work with. Free service all the way down the line, from learning how to podcast to storyline editing and just a clear, direct path to turning that mic on. I'm selecting 2. So if you're interested in being a part of my network and having us work together as a team to get you out there, go to the pricing tab and it will show you everything you need to know. Click the button and it will send me an email and we can connect from there. If you're interested and you want to have a podcast and you want to be on my network, now is the time. Okay. Have a great week. Love you, miss you. Bye.